Warning, this video covers a series that features nudity, gore, and rape. This anime is not for everyone. It is graphic, intense, and meant for only mature audiences. You have been warned.
Berserk. It's hard to know what to say about this series. Berserk was created by Kentaro Miura back in 1988, and it follows the story of a man named Guts. This series has been widely praised for its deep, interesting characters, complex story, and stunning artwork. In my personal opinion, it's one of the greatest manga I've ever read, and it's not even finished yet.
In 1997, an anime adaptation of the manga was attempted. It spans 25 episodes, 24 of which cover the most popular well-known storyline from Berserk, the Golden Age arc. To give a brief summary, it takes place in a land called Midland, which is involved in the 100-year war with their neighbor, Tudor. The setting of Midland is supposed to be reminiscent of medieval Europe. It follows Guts, a skilled mercenary that wields a gigantic sword and refuses to let anybody lead him. One day, he's defeated and forced to join a mercenary band called the Band of the Hawk, led by the beautiful and brilliant Griffith. The story then follows Guts' adventure with the Band of the Hawk, going from an outsider to Griffith's most trusted soldier. He also builds a relationship with Casca, Griffith's second-in-command, and other members of the Band of the Hawk like Pippin, Rickard, Judo, and Corcus. His relationship with Corcus may just be Corcus being a snarky bitch all the time, but it's something. Many other things happen, none of which I can truly get into, because I really just want to avoid giving spoilers when it comes to the series. But what I can tell you is that it's amazing.
Now, the anime never got a second season, sadly, but the manga kept chugging on. It wasn't until 2012 until another adaptation would be attempted, but this time in movie form. A trilogy of films were released covering the Golden Age arc. Again. But fans were still excited, though. New Berserk movies could lead to another Berserk anime, which goes past the Golden Age arc, and at the time of making this video, in 2016, that seems to be coming true. A new anime has been announced that will cover stuff past the Golden Age arc. Berserk fans, rejoice! We are getting something new. Maybe like JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Resurgence brought on by its new anime, Berserk will take off come the next hit anime, getting the exposure and love that it has deserved for so long. But before we get too hooked on what might be, I think it's best that we look back at what we already have. While Berserk is a well-loved and respected series, it isn't something many casual anime fans have seen. Maybe heard of it, but to those fans, where do you start with this series? That is exactly what I want to get to in this video. There are two adaptations, and I hope to tell you which one deserves your time so you can prepare yourself or your friends for what is to come in the ensuing chaos of Berserk.
Let's start off with Age Before Beauty, which is to say the 1997 anime. This anime is a fantastic adaptation. It explores these deep characters in the manga and complex ideas. Like what it truly means to be someone's friend, and what is right for someone to sacrifice in the pursuit of one's dream. There are so many great questions raised in Berserk that are really fun to think over and discuss with friends, and this anime adaptation does a great job of capturing that. Now, it wasn't the most well-funded anime, the animation quality is pretty dated by today's standards, and while I think the core of the English dubcast did a very good job, one of the extra voice actors is Sean Schimmel, who you may know as the voice of Goku. So throughout my watch of the series, random people would pop up who sound exactly like Goku, like half the soldiers are Goku, and it's a very recognizable voice, it really sticks out.
Captain Guts, welcome back! It was amazing, Captain! You took them in one charge!
Now, I don't count that against the anime at all. You could just watch the sub version if it did, but it's just funny to me as a DBZ fan to hear another voice in this context. But the one thing that will never age or can be taken away from this series is the soundtrack. This is probably one of the greatest scores in anime. From the epic track Forces to the powerful and eerie Guts theme, you will be hard-pressed to find any song that doesn't fit perfectly with this show. The one exception to that may be the opening theme song, which I found a little jarring and weird compared to the rest of the music in the show, but I got used to it and grew to really like it near the end. Then there was the movies, The Egg of the King, The Battle of Daldry, and The Advent, that cover almost exactly the same material as the anime. I feel like I need to air out the negative before I talk about the good, so let's get right to that. It takes about a minute into the first film when you see this problem. 3D animation was used for large battles, and it really wasn't the highest quality. I'd put these on the level of a really advanced game for the PS2. But for a high-quality film in 2012, it's just distracting and awful. Now, this isn't used for the entire film, and if you go further into the series, it becomes less noticeable. You'll still notice it, but it isn't quite as off-putting for me, at least. Now, the normal 2D animation looks incredible, and I wish it could have been like this throughout the entire series, but if I had to guess, they didn't have the budget for that. Now, besides the animation, the story is rushed. Many parts that really help you feel out and learn about these characters have to be cut for time to get to larger story points. I think it's still possible to understand and get these characters, but it's just a little more difficult to see why Berserk is unique. There was so little time to soak in and think about some of the events that are happening, and maybe the deeper meaning behind certain moments. The timeline jumps forward so much, and some of the little details are just left out. To me, it's kind of like looking at a connect the dots, except a few lines have been removed. You still get the picture, but it's just missing something. The films are flawed, but getting to the good, they still capture the main characters of Guts, Casca, and Griffith incredibly well. They also introduce crucial and incredibly important characters like Skull Knight, who plays a central role to everything past the Golden Age arc, who was not even mentioned in the anime. Now, earlier I talked about how bad the 3D animation was, but I think it looks so jarring to me because of how excellent and beautiful the 2D animation is. In fact, the third film is just gorgeous, and the second film is pretty great. Most of the truly disjointed moments come in the first film, but past that, it really wasn't that much of an issue for me. There are a lot of fights here that just feel so much more intense and kinetic than what the anime was able to accomplish, and most animes to this day are even able to accomplish. I also mentioned how the films rush past a lot of stuff, because they are films, they have to squish down a lot of content. But there are a few things I think are handled much better in the films than the anime, mainly the conclusion of the arc. I will not get into specifics about what happens, but it is crazy and intense, and the anime just kind of ends in the middle of it. Just kind of stops and says, yeah, you could just have this as your ending. The film at least has the decency to show you all the way through the climax instead of just ending during it. It allows you time to deal with what happens instead of just kind of leaving before it was over and never calling you back. Even though you had made plans to hang out, they just never showed up because they think they're better than me.
Getting back on track, the climax is a roller coaster, and the anime just gives you that big dive, a few sharp turns, and it just kind of stops and throws you out. While the films give you a little more track to slow down, comprehend, and process what you just went through. So in this respect, the movie's won by a long shot to me. So this all kind of gets back to my problem with recommending one adaptation over the other. It all kind of depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for something with cool action and modern animation, then the movies are the way you should go, given that you can excuse the 3D parts. But if you're a more thoughtful person who's looking for more of the characters and the story, then the anime adaptation is for you. It captures what makes Berserk so fascinating far better than the movies do. That being said, the anime has a few issues outside of its control. It's not really available for streaming anywhere, so the only way to really watch it online is to go to an online anime site, which is full of bootlegs and copies. I don't really like going to those sites, because piracy and bootlegging just makes me feel scummy inside, you know? Now you could be thinking, well, why don't I just get it on DVD? Well, the DVDs are out of print and expensive as fuck. They are way out of the price range of a typical fan, and if you can find a way to watch it, then do, but it's just not readily available, and I really couldn't say why. Now, the movies are all available on Blu-ray and DVD, and these Blu-rays are definitely worth the money, especially the Advent. This movie is gorgeous. It is amazing. It's so worth the money. These really aren't that hard to find at all. In fact, the first one is available on Netflix Instant, so you can go watch it right now if you have a Netflix account. They also have the added benefit of being a lot easier to go through, so if you're just looking for a quick introduction to the series to see what all the hubbub is about, then you can't get better than this. There is no slam dunk answer besides the obvious, which is read the manga. Both the anime and the film both have so many factors that constrict the story, and Berserk is a story that should not be constricted in any way. There are ups and downs to both adaptations, and I really can't give you a definitive answer. If you can, watch the anime, but since it's really not an option for a lot of people, the movies work incredibly well. So yeah, kinda copped out here at the end, didn't I? Honestly, if you're just starting out, I think you should watch the movies. They aren't perfect, but I think they're enough to get you intrigued to watch more. Thank you very much for taking your time to watch this video. See ya.
We've been doing this for so long, and yet it's come to this.